Well, the powerful images in this story about the death and the resurrection of Lazarus are just powerful, fantastic. I mean, it's just a storytelling of the gospel story at its best. Lazarus is sick. Jesus is teaching with his disciples. They send word that Lazarus is very sick, that Jesus should come and heal him. And what does Jesus do? Say, let's go, let's hurry. No. He says, let's be patient. Everything will happen in God's time. And that in this moment, God wants to work another sign. And so if we go too early, we'll miss the real signpost that God has for us. So we're going to stay here a little longer. Actually, we're going to travel a little bit and do some more teaching. And then we're going to make our way. And the disciples said, but Jesus, you don't understand. You probably won't make it. And Jesus says, all in God's time. All in God's time. Have you ever lived your life and just said, I'm really anxious about this, but it's all about God's time. I really want to get this over with, but it's really about God's time. You know, I often find people wishing away most of their life. I hear expressions like, I can't wait until. I wish this would hurry up and get here. My goodness, you know, I wish vacation would hurry up and get here. Well, you've just wished away 4 or 5 months of your life. You see, this is what the gospel would say. What's the vacation in today? Where are you going to find God's Sabbath in this moment? And so Jesus hangs out with them a little bit, and then Jesus says it's time for us to go. Lazarus is asleep. And, you know, the disciples are still trying to figure this out. And they say, well, why would we want to go wake him up? And Jesus says, no, not literally sleeping. He's dead. He's died. And then they say, well, why should we go? Remember, they tried to put you to death the last time you went there. If he's already dead, why would we even go? And Jesus says, because the work of God must happen. So they go, and they encounter first who? Martha. And what does Martha do? Martha begins to complain. What in the world took you so long? It really doesn't take that long to get here. Where have you been? Don't you care about my brother? You made us believe you really loved him. If you really would have loved him, you would have been here when he was alive. What kind of love is this? Gets her all settled down. Mary comes. What does Mary say? Oh, it's so good to see you. Not same thing. Where have you been? What took you so long? He works with Mary. Then he goes to the tomb. And he says, move the stone. Move the stone. It's a barrier to life. It's blocking the movement of God. Let's get this out of the way. Oh, Jesus, you don't understand. He's been dead 4 days. We got that stone up there nice and tight so that the odor will, not permeate. Please, Jesus, don't make us go even deeper into grief. Please. Jesus says it's time for the work and the will of God. Move the stone. And then Jesus calls to Lazarus. And he says, come out. Come out. And I can't explain it. I can only testify what others have said. Lazarus came out. And then in other translations, it was not quite read this way today, but in other translations it says, unbind him. Unbind him. In other words, he was wrapped with all the burial wraps, like a mummy. Unbind him. And so that's what I want us to think a little bit about today. Coming out and being unbound